I knew something was off the second I walked into that fancy next-gen software conference room. The sun was shining in through those huge windows, making weird shadows all over the super shiny table where Jessica and Lisa were sitting. They look stiff, that fake calm face people get when they've got bad news. My heels clicked on the wood floor as I walked up, each click echoing in that quiet room. 18 years I'd worked in that building, and all of a sudden it felt strange. The air conditioning was blasting, freezing cold like always. Some things never change, even when everything's about to be upside down. Elena, Jessica said, all businesslike. Please sit down. I sat, noticing how Lisa's perfectly polished nails were tapping that manila folder. My name was on it, of course it was. Jessica started talking about how they appreciated me meeting them, but I wasn't really listening. All I could focus on was that folder, Lisa smoothing it out, and Jessica's voice. It was shaky, even for her. After almost 20 years in tech, I've seen this dance before. This wasn't some review or project meeting. This was it. The end. Jessica said, real slow and flat. Due to a restructuring, your position at NextGen is being eliminated, effective immediately. So there it was, the whole rotten thing I'd been dreading for months, finally happening. Lisa pushes this file across the table, my severance package. Her voice is all soft and sweet, like she feels bad about it. Almost. But I didn't even touch the stupid thing. My mind was stuck on that email I saw 3 weeks ago, the one I wasn't supposed to see. Clear your desk by Friday, it said, meant for HR, but someone messed up. I deleted it right away, but those words, they were burned into my brain. It's a pretty good deal, Jessica says, thinking I'm stunned silent. 6 months pay, but I cut her off. What about my algorithm? I asked, my voice even though I felt like a volcano was about to blow. My algorithm, the one that's going to change everything about how we protect client data. Jessica's face gets hard. Everything you did while working here belongs to NextGen, according to your contract, she says. Yeah, right. That's the real reason. Richard Hale, our super ambitious CEO, has been eyeing my project, getting all interested. He was at all my team meetings, asking a million questions about how it works and how much it could make. I thought he finally got it, that I was doing something amazing. Turns out he was just planning to steal it. My phone buzzes on the table, everyone looking. Some unknown number. I see the text. The advantage is yours, prepare for what comes next. I almost grinned. These corporate suits think they're so smart, handing out their little severance packages and all that legal mumbo-jumbo. They have no clue what's coming. I straightened my jacket. That's all, I said, figuring that was that. Jessica just stared, totally surprised I was so calm. Don't you want to go over the severance details? She asked. Nope, I said. I started for the door, then stopped. You know the funny thing, I said, looking right at her. If you'd actually bothered to look at my work logs, you'd see I built that algorithm on my own time, using my own stuff. I held her gaze. But you didn't bother, did you? The color just drained right out of Lisa's face. Jessica's face tightened up. Elena, send any more stuff through my lawyer, I told them. I walked out, my steps echoing. It felt good. And to Jessica, I said, tell Richard he should have waited to fire me until after the patent went through. The door clicked shut, a perfect sound. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. It was that unknown number. Stand by for instructions, the text said. This is just the beginning. They figured they could get rid of me like an old computer, toss aside 18 years of hard work and loyalty. They were wrong. My whole career has been about security algorithms, protecting systems from hackers and stuff. Now I'm using those skills for something else. I pushed the elevator button, checking myself out in the shiny doors. At 52, I'm apparently too old for NextGen's new vision, too expensive for their budget. But getting older gives you wisdom, experience, and most importantly, a backup plan. The elevator doors slide open with a little ding. I let a tiny grin creep onto my face as I walk in. They just messed up, and if I'm careful, this is gonna be their last screw-up. The lights in NextGen's building next door are buzzing as I look through another stack of their internal files. My fingertips glide over the secret memos I've been collecting for months. Every single page is a piece of a puzzle I never asked to put together. The clock on my desk says 11:47 p.m. Security won't be checking this part of the building for another 13 minutes. I grab the latest Felia strategy memo, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Richard Hale's signature is scrawled at the bottom, a big show of ego and black ink. The document talks about NextGen's plan to save money, but all the corporate talk can't hide what they're really doing. They're basically swapping out the experienced people for new hires, and the new people will get paid a lot less. My eyes get stuck on one paragraph. They're focusing on taking the rights to our work from the people who have been here a while and giving it to the new ones. The words get blurry as anger boils up inside me. They're not just firing us, they're stealing our stuff. I shove the memo into my encrypted folder and pull up the development logs from my financial security program. Every time something was done, every change, every time I figured something out, it's all there on my personal laptop, which I used to develop it during all those nights I couldn't sleep while working at home. NextGen never even bothered to find out where or when the work was actually done. They're bad. My phone buzzes. A message from Daniel Brooks at Titan Tech popped up. He got my email. He wants to talk big time, says we can meet tomorrow. 8 p.m. Blue Door Cafe. I leaned back in my chair, just letting it all soak in. Titan Tech, man, they're NextGen's main rival, and Daniel Brooks. He's known for spotting good ideas. But the big thing, he loves to swipe market share from NextGen, and he's good at it. The security guard's boots thumped down the hall. I shut down my laptop, shoved it in my bag, and cleared out. Gotta leave no evidence behind. That memo felt heavy in my pocket, a whole lot of corporate greed wrapped up in official-sounding words. Driving home, I kept hearing Jessica Morton's voice from this morning. So neutral, as she broke the news, a totally rehearsed speech about how they were restructuring. I wonder if she even read the stupid thing before she started doing what it said. My home office is a whole different world than NextGen's cold, sterile place. Here, with all my books and the gear I've collected for like 20 years, I've built something they can't touch. I turned on my secure workstation and pulled up the patent application I filed 3 weeks ago, the second I saw the writing on the wall. The patent office's confirmation email was just sitting there in my inbox, unread. I opened it up now and I smiled as I looked at all the official language. My algorithm, my name, my patent, not NextGen's, not Richard's. Mine. Daniel's contact info was flashing on my phone screen. This single phone call, it could change everything. Titan Tech's resources, mixed with my ideas, could totally change the whole game. But it would mean a fight with NextGen, and in those kinds of fights, people get hurt. I can't help but think about my team. Ethan, with his amazing coding, Samantha, always testing, never stopping. They believe in me. Going with me to Titan Tech meant cutting ties, risking everything. But sticking with NextGen meant watching everything we built slowly disappear. The decision became clear as I looked over everything one last time. The strategy memo, the patent confirmations, the development logs. There was even a secret folder on my laptop with tons of emails, meeting recordings, and documents that would make any lawyer's jaw drop. I wrote my reply to Daniel, Blue Door Cafe, 8 p.m. I'll bring something that you will want to see. My finger hovered over the send button. This was the turning point, the move that would take me from being a nobody to being somebody, from the guy who was tossed aside to a valuable player. I hit send. The familiar feel of my office chair held me in place while I thought about what was next. I gave NextGen 18 years. I built their security, trained their people, helped them grow. And now, they'd find out what happens when they think experience is a weakness. I opened the complete file I'd put together. Proof of NextGen getting rid of senior employees. Evidence of stealing intellectual property. Documentation of age discrimination that was disguised as restructuring. Daniel Brooks is gonna see what I've got tomorrow. It's not just some fancy algorithm, it's the stuff that wins wars. My phone buzzes his reply. Looking forward to it, it says. Come prepared to discuss terms. I shut my laptop, the darkness feeling comfy and familiar. Tomorrow, I'm sitting across from him, changing my whole life. But tonight, I gotta laugh at how things turned out. NextGen tried to get rid of me quietly, but they just handed me the perfect chance to show them what I'm really capable of. My home office is my war room, loaded with evidence charts and graphs, stuff they can't deny. But my best weapon, they never even saw it coming. I've got nothing left to lose and everything to gain back. I'm watching them live on my tablet, my coffee getting cold beside me. The NextGen board is filing into their fancy conference room, all their usual swagger gone, replaced by nervous energy. Richard Hale, at the head of the table, looks like he's about to crack. Even on this grainy stream, I can see the sweat on his forehead. He's saying Elena Carter's situation is being blown out of proportion, all that condescending tone he always uses. He claims her work, even if it was good, was done using NextGen's stuff and people. Then Sandra Chen, I know her face, she freezes her tablet. That's not what these documents say, she announces. She pivots, and on her screen, there's the stuff I leaked, all the internal stuff I orchestrated. I know those memos. The dates, the development details, all the emails tell a different story. Through the window, I see the craziness outside the next-gen building. The media's all there. News trucks pack the street with their dishes reaching up like metal plants. Another alert dings on my phone. Next-gen stocks tanking, down 12% this morning. Back at my desk, I lay out the proof, all in neat rows. Each folder is a whole bunch of months of work. All the details, the development records, every email, and the timestamps of every single thing I created on my own time. My fingers slide over the coffee stains on my research notebooks, pages full of algorithms that would become the foundation of my security protocol. The weight of 18 years sits heavy as I go through everything again, but instead of feeling down, I feel lighter, stronger. Each document is another layer of defense, of attack, my future. I spent my whole career building barriers for data. Now I'm building walls to protect myself. They won't get rid of me, I whisper to my empty office. The words are a promise, a call to arms, and a prediction all at once. The restaurant Daniel picked for our meeting is exactly what you'd imagine for a Titan Tech CEO. It's all classy and low-key, with private booths built for privacy. Soft classical music drifted down as I settled into the leather chair opposite him. He looked me over with the same intense focus I use when I'm trying to fix a tough piece of code. "Elena," he said, as he filled my water glass. "I've been keeping a close eye on what's been happening with you." "Oh yeah." I replied, carefully taking a sip while sizing him up over the glass's rim. "I bet the whole damn Silicon Valley has." He smiled, but it wasn't the fake grin I'm used to from Richard. There was a real spark of appreciation in it. "Your security algorithm is groundbreaking. It's a joke that NextGen couldn't see how valuable you are. That was their big screw-up." He went on, "Titan Tech wouldn't make the same mistake. We're ready to offer you the CTO position." He slid a folder across the table, the leather case branded with Titan's logo. "A $2.5 million signing bonus, 5% equity, and you'll have complete freedom to pick your own team." His eyes met mine, and he added, "including any former NextGen engineers who might be looking for a change." My phone buzzed on the table. A message from Ethan. "Team meeting set. Secure channels ready." Across the city, in a low-lit co-working space, I knew Ethan and Samantha were huddled around a laptop, coordinating with our most reliable team members. Their loyalty wasn't to NextGen, it never was. It was to the dream we built together, the innovations we created together during all those late nights and early mornings. Samantha texted again. 15 people so far. More are on their way. It's really happening." I looked over at the stock ticker quietly scrolling on the restaurant's TV. NextGen stock was tanking, that patent fight is really hurting them. Then I saw Titan Tech's stock soaring. Someone's buying them up big time. My phone buzzed some unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to pick up. "Ms. Carter." The voice was all messed up like a robot. "There's something you need to know about your old contract with NextGen." My grip on the phone tightened. "Who is this?" A friendly voice said, "Check section 47.3, subsection B." Sneaky, huh? Then click, they hung up. I looked at Daniel, he gave me that "what's up" look. My portfolio was open, showing all the money I'd made, years of hard work finally paying off. But that call. I pulled up my NextGen contract on my tablet, ready to search for anything hidden. What secret clause could mess everything up? And even more important, why would someone want me to find it? 3 laptops were humming away, bathing my home office in blue light as I went over my plan to fight back. Okay, here's the story rewritten. Every screen in front of me showed something different: patent stuff, the logs of how things came together, and a video call with Sarah Chen. She's this big shot lawyer in Silicon Valley. "The timestamp records are solid," Sarah was saying, her voice super clear in my ears. "They can't argue you didn't do this on your own." I kind of sank back into my chair, this fancy one that's supposed to be good for your back. All around me were these binders, totally organized, with 18 years of my research notes and the employment contract. "The development clause is just the usual stuff," she explained. "It won't stand up against your own records and the fact that you did this on your own." Sarah was tapping her pen on her desk. "We can get the patent filed right now." My fingers were over the keyboard, getting the encrypted email ready for Ethan and Samantha. They knew this was coming and they were ready. That email had the exact steps for them to leave NextGen timing, that's the whole game. "Do it," I told Sarah, and I hit send. That little sound, the email going out, felt like the start of something big. I watched the fog roll in, covering San Francisco in this gray blanket. Somewhere out there, in that city, Richard Hale was about to find out he made a huge mistake. That next-gen software press conference, total desperation. I'm glued to my laptop watching the livestream. Richard Hale's up there, all nervous, a far cry from his usual swagger. He tries to play it cool, calling the layoffs a standard restructuring, fiddling with his collar the whole time. NextGen, he says, is still totally committed to boom. A hand shoots up from the press. Mr. Hale, the reporter asks, her voice loud and clear, can you explain that patent filing that just dropped? She calls out the timestamp showing Dr. Carter came up with the algorithm all on his own. The color just drains right out of Richard's face. Security's scrambling, handing out those press releases, but it's too late. On my other monitor, I'm seeing the news sites explode with the story. My leak, the memos, the logs, the whole shebang is plastered all over. Sources confirm NextGen tried to steal Dr. Carter's work. One headline blares. Another one screams, veteran innovator exposes corporate greed. My phone buzzes, it's Daniel from Titan Tech. Go time, his text says. Suddenly, Titan's social media is blowing up, experts and analysts are all backing me up. The story's changing faster than Richard can even keep up. He tries to wiggle out of it, but the damage is done. It's over for him. That next-gen stock ticker in the corner of my monitor just keeps plummeting. This is a total mess. I can practically hear Richard's yelling echoing from the boardroom, even from here. My inside guy's giving me the play-by-play as it happens. Where's legal? Somebody come up with a plan. But honestly, it's too late for any kind of saving grace. The board members are all fidgeting in their seats, and Richard's scrambling to fix things is just making everything worse. Every time he opens his mouth, every time he tries to explain, it's just throwing more gas on the fire. Sir, a young exec stammers out, we're getting calls from the big clients. They want to look over their contracts again. The word spread like wildfire through NextGen. People were huddled up in the break rooms, whispering and gossiping about everything going on. My story was confirming all their own bad experiences with the company's awful culture, and years of built-up anger was just exploding. My phone buzzed again. Another update from the inside. They brought in a crisis team, but it was too late. The proof was already out there everywhere. As the sun went down over San Francisco, I watched NextGen stock crash to a 5-year low. My own team was safe. Ethan and Samantha had quit hours earlier, and the same went for some key people in our development department. The stuff they gave to the internal investigators, that was just the cherry on top. A notification pops up. An urgent email from Thomas Grant, the new CEO of NextGen. The subject line made my stomach drop. That clause 7. 3 in the Ray employment contract. I clicked on the email wondering what this last-ditch effort to fix things was all about. The message was carefully written, and it mentioned a clause that was, apparently, missed before. One that could maybe help us find a solution. I leaned back in my chair and smirked a little. They figured this was their secret weapon, but really, it just showed how desperate they were. I'd let them stew on it until tomorrow before I answered. I mean, I didn't spend my entire career creating security algorithms just to be outsmarted by company games. They thought they could throw me away, but instead, they screwed themselves. We'd see tomorrow how much that forgotten clause was actually worth. The cameras were like lightning as I stood at the podium, feeling strong. The huge press room at Tech was packed, buzzing with reporters, experts, and best of all a few pale-faced execs from NextGen Software. Daniel Brooks stepped away from the microphone after saying Titan Tech now had exclusive rights to my financial security algorithm. I could tell from his confident grin that he was loving this. The stock ticker crawling across the screens behind us showed NextGen's shares plummeting. Ms. Carter will now present the tech stuff about her revolutionary innovation, Daniel announced. My heels tapped on the wooden stage as I took his place. The room went completely silent. I've done a ton of presentations in my life, but nothing compared to this one. I felt the smooth remote in my hand, and the first slide lit up the giant screens. What you're looking at, I said, making sure my voice was loud enough, is the original development log for the financial security protocol from a year and a half ago. I moved to the next slide, showing the email chain that proved I came up with this thing using my own time and money. The audience started buzzing. In the third row, I saw Jessica Morton, and she looked totally freaked out, not like her usual confident self. She was whispering something fast to the young lawyer next to her. It was all there, clear as day. I kept going, showing the patent filing paperwork. Every single timestamp, every digital signature, every step of the development, all checked and confirmed by people who knew what they were doing. Cameras were going crazy, and I kept taking apart Next Gen's lies, bit by bit. Every single piece of evidence hit them hard. Internal emails showed how they tried to steal my idea. There were research logs proving I did it on my own, and the timestamped patent filings protected my intellectual property. Then the reporters went nuts with questions. Ms. Carter, is NextGen going to get in trouble? What does this mean for everyone? Did Richard Hill tell them to steal your invention? I answered each question carefully, watching my words spread like wildfire all over social media. I could see the NextGen folks on the screens, shifting around like they were sitting on hot coals, their phones buzzing with what I'm sure were frantic texts from their bosses. 2 days later, and I'm in the federal courthouse, with sunshine pouring through the big windows and reflecting off the shiny marble floors. The whole place felt tense, and my lawyers were getting ready to make our case. Richard Hale was on the other side, looking less put together than usual, even in his fancy suit. Your Honor, my lead lawyer started, her voice calm and confident, we have rock-solid proof that Ms. Carter came up with this algorithm on her own, using her own time and money. She pointed to the pile of papers in front of her. The defendant's claim on my work wasn't just wrong, it was a total lie. The next 3 hours were a textbook example of how to win a case. We showed them the documents, the secret memos that proved NextGen was trying to steal my work, the development logs with the dates and times that proved I built it myself. We even had security footage of me working late in my home office. Richard Hale's lawyer tried to fight back, but it was no use. Every argument just crumbled against the evidence we had. I saw his face get whiter and whiter as our case went on. Your Honor, my lawyer said, standing up for her final argument, we're ready to offer NextGen Software a licensing agreement. Okay, here's the story rewritten. She stops, letting the suspense really hang in the air. The judge's decision hits hard. The licensing agreement stays in place. Richard Hale's face is a mask of barely controlled fury. All the analysts in the room are frantically rewriting their forecasts. This ruling is gonna shake up the whole tech world. What happens next is like a well-oiled machine. NextGen's whole leadership team crumbles in a matter of days. Richard Hale announces his resignation on every single news channel, and his usual cockiness is gone, replaced with a look of total defeat. Jessica Morton's public apology, which obviously came from some crisis PR people, just feels fake when you look at the stock prices crashing and clients running away. At the same time, Titan Tech's market share goes through the roof. My old team, now my new team, parties in our super cool innovation lab. Ethan gives a champagne toast, his smile showing the huge satisfaction we all feel. Samantha hugs me tight and whispers, "You showed them what real innovation is all about." The internal investigation at NextGen confirms everything I thought, a pattern of getting rid of experienced innovators and going for cheaper, younger people. The tech blogs and industry magazines can't get enough of the whole thing. Elena Carter's headline, "Brilliant Counter-Strike," says it all. How one woman outsmarted corporate greed. After everything calms down, I get an encrypted email from Thomas Grant, the new CEO of NextGen. Here's the story. The office is silent, just the soft drone of the servers in the background. This email, it's so carefully phrased, dropping hints about some hidden clause buried deep in my old contract. It could totally change the terms of the licensing agreement. I'm leaning back in my chair, trying to wrap my head around what this could mean. They're scrambling to save face after screwing up so badly, but I've learned you can't underestimate how far a company will go when they're desperate. That kind of pressure makes folks do crazy things. The cursor is blinking, waiting for me to type something. I won the big battle, no doubt about it, but something tells me this whole thing isn't over yet. The real question is, what's NextGen gonna try next? And how far am I willing to go to keep what I've built safe? I shut my laptop, watching the city lights twinkle outside. They thought they could just toss me aside, pretend like 18 years of hard work never happened with one lousy firing notice. Turns out they were wrong. You can't just make someone obsolete. Experience is a dangerous thing. The future is wide open now, full of options I never even dreamed of when I was sitting in that conference room all those months ago. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't just winning, It's making the other guys watch while you do better than they could ever imagine. The sunlight's pouring through those huge windows in my corner office here at Titan Tech, making everything golden, shining across the mahogany desk. I run my fingers across the smooth surface, enjoying the difference from that tiny little office I had at NextGen. OK, so 18 months ago, I was sitting in this totally impersonal conference room, listening to two HR people basically tell me my career was over. Can you believe it? Now look at me, I'm 40 floors above San Francisco, watching the fog roll in over the bay. My new office. It's a whole different story. The walls are lined with these amazing screens showing all the security stuff I built. My algorithm, it's huge now, protecting millions of transactions every second. Every time it works perfectly, it's like a little victory, you know. A tiny screw you to those guys who thought I was washed up. The doors whoosh open and Sarah's there with a pile of reports. Board meeting in 10 minutes, Dr. Carter, she says. I straighten my jacket, grab my tablet and head out. This boardroom, it's the total opposite of that last one. NextGen's boardroom was a nightmare. This place, warm lighting, comfy chairs, and inspiring quotes on the walls. My favorite ones up there: innovation isn't about age but vision. Daniel put it up the day I became CTO. As I sit down at the head of the table, I remember that other room. Jessica's sharp voice, Lisa's fidgeting hands, that manila folder with my name on it, but those memories. They don't bother me anymore. They taught me something huge, though. Real strength isn't about how long you've been doing something, it's about knowing your own value and not letting anyone else tell you what you're worth. The room started filling up with my team, everyone looking energized and ready to go, tablets out and everything. Ethan Rivera, like always, sat to my right, and across from him was Samantha Lee. These two came with me from NextGen, stuck with me even when nobody else believed in what I was trying to do. I didn't just reward their loyalty, I paid it back tenfold. Later that night, the banquet hall was buzzing. Glasses were clinking, and everyone from Titan Tech was there celebrating our latest win, launching our new security protocol that protects double the clients NextGen ever had. The irony wasn't lost on us. I saw Jordan Matthews across the room, a new hire from a competitor. Her story was almost identical to mine. 28, crazy smart, and totally burned out by corporate BS that cared more about fitting in than coming up with new ideas. She was kind of hanging back by the dessert table, looking a little lost. The chocolate mousse is amazing, I said, walking over with 2 glasses of champagne, but not as amazing as your work on that quantum encryption module. Her eyes went wide when I handed her a glass. Dr. Carter, I thank you, she stammered. I was hoping to talk to you about the module, actually. There's this application I've been thinking about. Walk with me, I cut in, leading her away from the crowd. Tell me about this application, and even more importantly, tell me how that last performance review went over at Quantum Dynamics. We spent the next hour hashing out strategies, brainstorming new ideas, and figuring out how to survive in this business. It's a tough world, you know. They often think experience means you're easily replaced. I saw that same spark in Jordan's eyes, the same fight I had when I clawed my way back. That determination to prove yourself, to show them what you're worth. Don't ever let them make you question yourself, I told her, my voice strong. The minute they start trying to push you down, that's when you know you're rocking their boat. The room went quiet as I walked up to the mic. Hundreds of faces stared back, big shots, up-and-comers, and yeah, a few ex-execs who looked pretty uncomfortable. The whole thing was pretty ironic, me being the keynote speaker. Innovation, I started, my voice booming through the fancy sound system. It's not about how old you are, or if you're a man or a woman, or how long you've been at a company. Real innovation comes from people who refuse to let anyone box them in, people who know their worth isn't decided by someone else. I paused, looking out at everyone. Jordan Matthews in the front row was totally glued to my words. Ethan and Samantha were grinning at each other, they knew what I was talking about. I'm not here as some corporate casualty, I said. I'm living proof that our biggest screw-ups can be our biggest breakthroughs. I took back my future because I never gave up. Let my story remind you, you decide your worth. The clapping was deafening, but honestly, I barely registered it. Ethan and Samantha were the first up, starting a huge standing ovation. Man, their faces were shining pure pride and happiness. We'd come a long way since those shaky early days at NextGen. The whole team was on their feet, every single one of them proof that sticking together and coming up with new ideas really does pay off. Even Jordan Matthews, who'd been giving me a hard time, was standing there, looking like she had a whole new outlook. But my mind, it was already racing ahead to tomorrow, to the next big thing, to what we're building at Titan Tech. Walking out of the building into the sunshine, my heels clicking on the polished floor, I let myself crack a little smile. I saw myself in the glass doors confident, strong, like nothing could stop me. The sun was all golden and bright, just like the endless possibilities ahead. They thought they could ruin me, finish me off. Turns out, they just screwed themselves.